Now, Iraq is holding parliamentary elections with sectarian groups, militias and clerics vying for seats in the legislature. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani is seeking a second term. The top issues for Iraqis are security, economic growth and access to basic services. Turnout, though, is predicted to be low, as it has been in previous elections. Many voters are frustrated with state corruption and mismanagement. Iraq is governed under a sectarian and ethnic power-sharing agreement. Our next report looks at the top candidates and the role foreign powers play.
More than 7,000 candidates competing for 329 seats in parliament. Sectarian and ethnic groups fighting for influence. Iraqi democracy at work. The biggest players in the election are Shia Muslim political factions. They're the dominant political force. Militias, many of which are also Shia, that can mobilize voters. Clerics, who can influence people to go to the polls. Sunni Muslims and Kurds. Iraq's minorities are also by law included in the process. Then there's the influence of the US and Iran, which have very different objectives. Iraq's Shia majority is the biggest force, but it's far from united. This is incumbent Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, who's been in power since 2022 and is now seeking a second term. He faces an uphill battle trying to unite Shia factions who are all competing for influence. The country's militias play a major role in mobilizing blocks of voters. Shia cleric Muqtada al-Sadr has long led one of the biggest militias. But clashes between armed Shia factions make them a fractured political force. On top of that, al-Sadr, one of Iraq's biggest political figures, has called for a boycott of the elections this time around. Iraq's highest-ranking Shia cleric, Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, has not encouraged voting in this year's election, which he did in previous elections. That means many Shias may simply sit this one out. The religious and ethnic minorities, Sunni Muslims and Kurds, also have a unity problem. A power-sharing agreement says that the Speaker of the Parliament must be Sunni and the President must be a Kurd. But deep divisions and the assassination of a high-profile Sunni politician earlier this year have kept the groups from having more influence. Foreign powers, the US and Iran, want different things from Iraq. The US wants to curb the influence of Iran-controlled militias that Tehran has used for years to extend its power, while Iran's influence is declining after its war with Israel earlier this year and the weakening of its proxy forces across the Middle East. Turnout has been sliding in recent elections. For many voters who are tired of corruption, this election is about delivering basic services like electricity, infrastructure, and health care, while the politicians fight each other.
Let's talk about this with Azhar al-Rubaie. He's a journalist based in Baghdad. Thanks so much for joining us today. As we were hearing, voter turnout is expected to be low. So can you help us understand why so many people are choosing to stay at home?
Good morning and thank you so much for having me. Yeah, that's really good questions. Why voters decided or choose to stay home. There are many reasons, but like the main reasons that drive voters to stay at home because the apathy and disillusionments are the main drivers that led them to stay at home. To be honest, like many of the Iraqis feel that the successive governments have failed to deliver their basic services, curb corruptions, and even to improve the living standards. Those reasons are make people to believe that their voice or their votes will not bring about the real change. This is one reason. And the other reason is millions of Iraqis, around, I would say, per my experience, like 4-5 millions of Iraqis boycotted this elections after the Sadr encouraged them to not go to the elections. So all of these reasons that make people to stay at home.
OK. And the Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, and his bloc, they are expected to win the most seats. So if we can just talk about once the voting happens, does that mean that he will then secure a second term?
Short answer, no, because securing the most seats does not mean he will be the prime minister for the second term. While his coalition expected to win the most, but there is no guarantee again to secure the second term as a prime minister. Generally, government formation in Iraq, it is really complex process. Of course, these processes involve complex, protected negotiations between the various blocs after the election. Securing the most seat is just the first step in a long political process. Of course, after the elections, they will sit in front of the table, they talks, and then they will decide who will be the prime minister and who will be divide the cakes. So the all of the coalitions will have the negotiations to decide the three main seats: the president, the prime minister, and the speaker of the parliament. Yeah.
OK, so complicated coalition talks ahead. Journalist Azhar al-Rubaie in Baghdad, thank you so much for joining us today.